Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the ending of My Hero Academia. The manga has wrapped up and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you. I got into My Hero Academia pretty recently, about 4 years ago, when my friend suggested I watch the anime. At first, I wasn't really excited to get into it. I had seen some clips online and honestly, I thought it looked kind of cringy. But I gave it a chance and ended up becoming a fan. So let's get right into it. For those who might need a quick recap, My Hero Academia follows the story of Izuku Midoriya, a quirkless boy in a world where almost everyone has superpowers, called quirks. Despite this, he dreams of becoming a true hero like his idol, All Might. One day, he meets All Might, who had just finished capturing a villain, and Midoriya asks if someone without a quirk can become a hero like him. Initially, All Might responds with no, but during their conversation, the villain escapes and takes Bakugo, Deku's childhood friend slash bully slash rival, as a hostage. Deku rushes in to save his friend without hesitation. Ultimately, All Might saves the day and this time tells Deku that even he can become a hero. All Might then explains to Deku about his quirk, One for All, which can be passed down from person to person. Throughout the series, we witness Deku's journey as he trains at UA High School, faces various villains, and grows into a true hero. But the story isn't just about heroes. We also see the rise of powerful villains, most notably Tomura Shigaraki and his mentor, All for One. Shigaraki starts as the menacing leader of the League of Villains, but evolves into a brutal villain under All for One's guidance. All for One has been a significant threat since the beginning of Hero Society, and as his name implies, he is the opposite of One for All, with the ability to steal and distribute quirks. He is the mastermind behind many of the conflicts our heroes face. So, how did it all end? The final arc of My Hero Academia brings an epic showdown between the heroes and the villains, culminating in a dramatic battle between Deku and Shigaraki. The resolution ties up many loose ends, and with the heroes emerging victorious but at a great cost. We see the legacy of All Might, the growth of the students, and a glimpse of the future world they fought to protect. And we see that in the process of the war, Deku sacrifices his power for the greater good. Now, let me share my thoughts on the ending. Personally, I found the final battle to be very intense and emotional. The stakes were high, and the action sequences were beautifully illustrated by the GOAT, Horikoshi. However, I did feel that some plot points were rushed and could have used more development. For example, I still believe that Deku's Vigilante arc, as some people call it, should have been a bit longer. Like at least 10 more chapters of him patrolling the streets and defending his people. The resolution of certain character arcs also felt a bit too convenient. For instance, I would have liked to see some development between the romance of Uraraka and Deku. Additionally, I would have liked for Toga to live and even get some sort of redemption arc where she tries to become a better person, or even a hero. But then again, these are just some minor things that I would have liked to see. But overall, I think the ending delivered a satisfying conclusion to the story, even though I know many people didn't agree with that final chapter. I have a friend who also felt differently about the ending. So let's talk about a few points that people disagree with. Number 1, the fact that Deku basically becomes irrelevant to the world and just a simple high school teacher. First, he didn't become irrelevant. Nowhere does it say that in the manga. People still recognize him when he's out in the streets and consider him to be one of the best alongside All Might, Endeavor, Bakugo, Shoto, and Best Jeanist. Just because he became a teacher doesn't mean he's irrelevant or a nobody. In fact, I would say it would have been shocking if he didn't become a teacher like his mentor and idol All Might. Number 2, some say that his friends abandoned him and don't even speak to him. Once again, it doesn't say that anywhere in the final chapter. What it actually says is that their days off don't line up, making it hard to hang out with everyone. But it doesn't mean that they are ignoring him. Finally, the biggest issue I've seen is that Deku lost his quirks, that he worked so hard to master and didn't even become the #1 hero in the world. Honestly, I also didn't like that he lost his powers in that way. I feel like if Horikoshi was going to make him lose his quirks, he should have died fighting. It sounds harsh, and I'm not the type of person who likes to see the main character die at the end of their story, but that's how I personally feel. However, after reading the final chapter again, I've come to see it from a different perspective. Those powers weren't Deku's to begin with, and what inspired All Might initially was the fact that a quirkless boy was the only one who took action.
You told me you didn't have a power, so when I saw this timid, quirkless boy try to save a life, it inspired me to act too.
So what I'm trying to say is that Deku isn't the greatest because he had one for all. He's the greatest because of who he is. Remember, from the very beginning, Deku said this was the story of how he became a great hero. And yeah, I would have liked for him to keep his powers and become the #1 hero, but since he sacrificed them for the world, I'm honestly okay with that. Besides, as we saw in the final panels, the My Hero verse now has its own version of Iron Man. The fact that Bakugo and his classmates invested a lot of money to have a suit made by both Hasume and Melissa specifically for Deku shows that they never forgot him and still want him to be a pro hero. Speaking of character arcs, let's talk about some key characters. Bakugo's development from a bully to a reliable hero was really well handled. And then there's Shigaraki, whose transformation from a high tier villain into the ultimate villain added a lot of depth to the story. The way these character journeys concluded felt fitting for the series. Looking ahead, I can't help but wonder about the future of the My Hero Academia universe. Will we see more spin-offs or possible sequels? Will we get an anime adaptation of the manga for My Hero Academia Vigilante? The ending left some room for potential stories, and I'm excited to see what comes next. Maybe we'll get more about the next generation of heroes, or see more about adult Deku and Class 1A, or maybe this really is the end for My Hero Academia. To wrap things up, I think the entire story of My Hero Academia was a roller coaster of emotions. It had its highs and lows, but it stayed true to the spirit of the series. What did you think of the ending? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.